Okay.
I'll start with the hardest question first. Say your name and tell me what you do.
Nice. So my name is Sierra LaBonte. I, previous to a couple weeks ago, served on the Bitterroot National Forest for 7 seasons, worked in the Bob for a season, been working trails and conservation work for 13 years. Yeah.
And then what happened?
And then I was on vacation and was starting to see reporting that people were getting fired. We had heard some before that, and then I got a call from my forest supervisor on a Saturday at about 5 telling me that I was fired. And I had already seen the language of the termination notifications about how it was based on performance, and downright just know that's a lie. I know that on multiple accounts, one of which is that I know my own personal performance evaluations, but also I do performance evaluations for other people. And they were fired, and I know exactly what is within those performance evaluations.
And they were positive evaluations. They didn't match with what the termination letter said?
Yes, the termination letter said that it was based on performance. It was no longer in the public interest for us to continue our service, which is a direct contradiction of what was in those performance evaluations.
Yeah. And some of the defenders of the recent firings have said, oh, well, this is their probationary employees. It's just new employees. You said you've worked at the Forest Service for almost a decade.
Yeah, definitely. So I think, the federal government hiring situation is very complicated for folks that don't work for the feds. Before I got my permanent job, which is the big promotion that we're all looking for, it means you get your benefits and you have more security. I had worked for the government for 7 years before I even got to that point. So I had done 7 years and then was beginning my career. And so for many of us, we had worked almost half a decade, more than a decade. I know folks that worked 15 years and got this promotion. So very incorrect to assume that just because it's labeled probationary, that it was the beginning of someone's career.
Yeah. And tell me a little bit about what's going on here and why you came out today.
Yeah, definitely. So I was fired from the federal government and fired from the Forest Service. And typically when you're an employee, you're not allowed to speak out through any partisan issues. And now that I've been fired, I think it's just really important for people to understand that you are having qualified, skilled, competent people who have chosen these jobs specifically for access and specifically for public service, and they're being fired, and the reasons for their firing is a lie.
Yeah.
And so it's important for me to be out here to support the folks that I know that still have their jobs. And just make some noise. I want to be the biggest pain in the ass I can possibly be to the administration that took my job away, that I've worked, my entire life for.
Yeah. Now, to play devil's advocate, a lot of people who are defending these cuts or express that they don't have sympathy for people who lost their jobs are saying these are government workers. They're just, living off tax dollars. They should just go find a job in the private sector, or we need to cut the federal payroll. Bummer they lost their job, but too bad. They'll be fine. We lost jobs in logging decades ago when the Forest Service changed environmental regulation about logging. We got through it then. Why should we feel bad about the people who are losing their jobs now? What are your thoughts when you hear that?
I don't think that you have to feel bad for people who are having their jobs lost now. I think that you should miss the services that were provided for you. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. I shouldn't use that language here, but I don't think it's about caring for the people. I think that most folks don't know how many services that they actually take advantage of that come from federal workers. And that's everything that from people who want to fish, to use car camp, use campgrounds, boat launches, roads. I mean, the list is endless. And so I don't really care if you don't care about my job, but I hope that you care about the services that were provided for you. And I would just say that a lot of folks are comparing it to the Clinton era, where he did away with 400,000 jobs, and that was over the course of 7 years. That wasn't over the course of 2 weeks. And it was also thoughtful, strategic. This is blunt trauma and without any precision, any strategy. And so, that's what I would just say to that.